Hello students. So we are left with display, mouse and the general tab. So now we are starting with the display option. Display, as you know, display is basically the outlook of the system, how it appears to the user on a first hand basis. Like as of now you are getting a complete display of my screen. So I'm displaying my screen to you, my laptop screen to you, and this is basically what you as a user is seeing, a view of my laptop. So that is the display that you are getting. So in the similar fashion, what is the accessibility option that a computer or a system provides a user in terms of how it wants the system to be displayed, how it wants the system to provide it itself as an outlook to the user. So once in the display option you have the application, you have the option to use or modify the contrast features, use high or low contrast options, and then the cursor options, you can increase your cursor speed. Like this is basically my cursor speed, the intensity with which the cursor is moving. Here you can see the option. It is the blink rate and the narrow option, how the width, how much width do you want, whether it to be a narrow one or the wide one. So we'll discuss it one by one. Let's move on to the high contrast option. High contrast is an accessibility feature to assist people with vision impairment. It means people who have disability in terms of vision, or who wants to, you know, who have short sightedness or long sightedness. जैसे कहते हैं कि जिनको नज़दीक का नहीं दिखता है, तो they can increase the size of the font, they can increase the color of the font. People can also, people with color blindness can also use this feature, to get them a better idea of what they're working with. So in this, they can change the size and the color of the fonts and the background for ease of viewing, to help in the complete proper viewing of the display. The whatever they are seeing, they can customize it according to the requirements, in terms of the color, in terms of the background, in terms of the font, whatever they want. To enable high contrast, it's the similar fashion. You need to click on the you need to check on the high contrast option, then you need to apply on it. Click on the apply button and then OK, and then it will be enabled. To disabled, you need to again do the similar thing. You can need to uncheck the use high contrast option, then apply and then OK. So it will be disabled. Now what is cursor option? As I told you before, the cursor option is also an accessibility feature that assists people with vision impairment by changing the blink rate and the width of the cursor. So you can, person with vision impairment can also change the blink rate and the width of the cursor. Like they can narrow it, they can make it more wide, the cursor. Like look, this is the narrowest that they can, and then they can increase it. The size of the cursor will go on increasing from left to right. To change the speed of the cursor blink, move the blink rate slider back and forth. Here you can see, sorry, here you can see the option is here. You increase the blink rate. I have kept my blink rate is very, the blink rate is basically the intensity with which with which the cursor is moving. This is my blink rate. Look how moderate it is. It is not much, neither very much high nor very much less. ज़्यादा ज़्यादा भी नहीं है और ज़्यादा कम भी नहीं है. सो बेसिक नॉर्मल है. तो इसी तरह अगर किसी को मान लीजिए देखने में प्रॉब्लम हो रही है, या कुछ किसी को नज़दीक का नहीं दिख रहा है, तो वो इसको बढ़ा सकता है. और साथ ही अगर उसे नहीं दिख रहा तो इसकी वो चौड़ाई को बढ़ा भी सकता है और घटा भी सकता है. So accordingly, to change the width of the cursor, move the width slider back and forth. So you need to move, if you want to make any changes, you can move here back and forth, and also this back and forth. Now next is the mouse tab. The mouse key is an accessibility feature that assists people who have difficulty using a mouse. This option uses the keyboard as a pointing device instead of a mouse. So basically mouse key is a feature that helps people who have difficulty in using mouse. Basically, for starters, for people who have initially started using a system, they find it very difficult to use a mouse. So at that time, uh, people can also use the keyboard option, especially the numeric keyboard, as a pointing device instead of a mouse. Select the mouse tab. A window to configure accessibility options for mouse will be displayed. To enable mouse keys, click on use mouse keys and then click apply and then OK. Again, when it is activated, it will be displayed on the tray, systems tray, that is the taskbar, at the bottom part of your screen. Use number pad keys for moving mouse pointer instead of using mouse. After enabling, use mouse keys. Like basically what we can say is, in terms when you are enabling the mouse keys instead of moving, enabling the mouse keys instead of using the mouse, you can use your keyboard. In case, like, let's say if you want to go up, you want to go down, so you can use this number keys to navigate your mouse. To disable mouse keys, you can again do the same option. You can uncheck your mouse key option and then click apply and then click OK. Now the last of all is the general tab. So the general tab is enables the general tab enables you to configure accessibility options for all users. It doesn't depend on what the kind of user it is. A basic tab that is customized as per on a generic basis. It doesn't depends on the ability of the user, but also as a general, keeping that everyone has a tendency to use the system in a proper way. So select on the general tab. A window to configure additional accessibility option will be displayed. Figure 8, that is the above. This one, you can see the accessibility option. This is the general accessibility option. You can turn off automatically features after the idle one. So these are the various options that is available there. Turn on accessibility features after idle for. Give warning message when turning a feature on and make a sound when turning a feature on or off. Now check these features one by one and see what happens. Serial keys. Serial keys is an accessibility feature that assists people that have difficulty using a keyboard or a mouse or both. So these is very important. It basically is an accessibility feature that helps people who have a difficulty in using a keyboard or a mouse or both. They can use special devices such as sip, puff and breathe switches to provide input to a computer or serial ports. These are basically accessibility options. These options are basically for people who have difficulty in using either a keyboard or a mouse or both. So they can use these special devices such as sip, puff and breathe switches to provide input. Sipping on the tube activate one device while puffing on the same tube activates the other. You can see in the diagram. Applying all settings to log on desktop can be used to apply configured accessibility options to this user at log on. Apply all settings to defaults for new users can be used to apply configured accessibility options to all users using a particular computer. Now these are the exercise questions. So these is the first option is basically a practical topic, and the second is the filling the blanks. The option in Microsoft Windows XP used for helping users with physical disabilities and reduce repetitive strain. What will be the answer of it? Repetitive strain, physical disabilities and repetitive strain. So the answer will be sticky notes, sticky keys, as we have already discussed here. special feature to help computer users with physical disability, the means to reduce repetitive strain. So you can do the exercise questions from here. In the next topic, in the next session, we'll start with the second unit, uh, unit second, second session, that is networking fundamentals. So that's it. Thank you.